Assalamu alaikum everyone. So recently I've been reading a book called Hitler's Revolution by Richard Tedor, and it talks about really interesting things. It talks about World War II and Hitler and Nazism, but from a different perspective than we've normally come to know. And specifically it talks about how Hitler actually didn't instigate World War II, which is what the Allies and the victors try to portray because history is written by the victor. In reality, Roosevelt is the one who escalated to World War II, and this quote kind of gives a background to it and the context of it, and that's what we'll be talking about in this video. We'll be mentioning the quote and we'll also be analyzing it. Hitler says, "Roosevelt comes from a super rich family, belonging from the start to that class of people whose birth and background paved the way to advancement in a democracy. I myself was just a child of a small and poor family and had to struggle through life through toilsome work and by personal industry. When the World War came, Roosevelt found a spot in the shade under Wilson and experienced the war from a sphere of those who reaped dividends from it. He therefore knew only the pleasant consequences of the clash of nations and state, those that provide opportunity for those to do business, while another bleed. I wasn't one of those who made history or did business, but one who simply carried out orders. As an ordinary soldier, I tried to do my duty in the face of an enemy during these 4 years, and naturally returned home from the war as impoverished as I had entered it in the fall of 1914. I shared the fate of millions. Mr. Franklin Roosevelt shared his with the so-called upper 10,000. While Mr. Roosevelt, after the war, was already tying his hands at the financial speculation, I, together with hundreds of thousands of others, was still lying in a hospital." He makes a good point. Hitler was someone who struggled a lot during the war, and even before that. He came from a poor family. His parents were both dead by the time he was about 11-12 years old, so he was effectively an orphan, and after that he was homeless in Vienna. He really had to struggle, and war is not something he took lightly because he fought in it. He knows how difficult it is and he has experience with it. This is not the same with Roosevelt. He's absolutely right. Roosevelt came from an affluent background and he was speculating on the market. Roosevelt himself was an international. He didn't believe in domesticity, and he had a problem with Nazi Germany taking the markets away from England and from the US. And he was a globalist, he was an internationalist, he wanted to control the economy. He was an established Freemason.